With that, we bring in Chris Stirewalt, NewsNation political editor. Chris, good to see you. As always, does waiting for this draft DeSantis movement that he appears to feel like he needs ever worked?
Well, I mean, there is a balance that can be struck. And first of all, I'd like to wonder why Enton gets to be in the Keys and I'm here in Washington. This seems a little unfair, but that's okay. I'll work through it. Look, the way to think about Ron DeSantis or any of the others is the news would be if Ron DeSantis announced that he wasn't running for president, right? It would be big news if Ron DeSantis came out and said, I'm not running for president. When he eventually says that he is running for president, it's not really a story. It's a pseudo event. Look at Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley announced, she said, no, I know I've been acting like I'm going to run for president for years. And here I am. I'm really filing the paperwork and I'm really declaring. It doesn't change things in a material way. And what DeSantis is trying to do is have the best of both worlds, right? He's not the first politician to have a book, to go out in service of a book tour with that as cover, to go make a tour, talk to donors, hold events, be on TV, and raise your profile. He's not the first person to use controversies in his home state or in his district to try to create controversy that will work to his favor in terms of getting attention. The question for Ron DeSantis is, if he stays on the shelf too long, people will get bored of him. If he stays on the shelf too long, he might look like yesterday's news. So he's got to find a way to maximize excitement without being a candidate forever so that by the time we actually get to this time next year, people aren't sick and tired of him.
Reasonable people can agree that there are certain media organizations, not ours, who pick sides and want to try and play that game and be players on the field rather than calling the game. Fine, that's up to them. I think it'd be fair to say one of them would be Andrea Mitchell in this question to Kamala Harris about Ron DeSantis. Take a listen.
What does Governor Ron DeSantis not know about Black history and the Black experience when he says that slavery and the aftermath of slavery should not be taught to Florida school children?
To be fair, he's never said that. There's an advanced placement test that is in question. But really, no fair person can say that Ron DeSantis doesn't want to teach slavery to kids in Florida. The question would be, now is DeSantis sort of replaced Trump as the media's most hated person on the right?
Well, DeSantis certainly hopes that's true. And first, let me just say, it's not that question is just dishonest about Ron DeSantis. That is a preposterously easy question to ask a person in a position of power. That's ridiculous. But the Ron DeSantis would very much like to be public enemy number one, right? Because Republicans hate the media more than they hate Democrats, which is saying something. So the more that Ron DeSantis can be loathed by all of the right people, then that sets him up, that insulates him from Donald Trump's main attack on Ron DeSantis. Donald Trump wants you to think, he wants Republicans to think that Ron DeSantis is really a normal Republican, that he's really a mainstream conservative Republican who is only appearing to be a populist rabble-rouser, and that this is all an act. And this kind of attack, this kind of narrative from people like Andrea Mitchell reinforces that for DeSantis. So in a weird way, it's a bank shot that helps him.
Bank shot that helps him, that it's a nod to the base that you point out. And that base is, at least so far, tuning in. Potential 2024 primary, if it is just Trump versus DeSantis, acknowledging that Trump has a low ceiling but a high floor of support. Iowa, DeSantis is on top. New Hampshire, DeSantis is on top. Florida primary, no surprise, DeSantis wins there. Georgia primary, DeSantis up by 20 points. Does that get better or worse the longer Ron DeSantis waits?
Well, we have to remember it depends on how he does. I know that sounds simplistic, but we have many stories of very overhyped candidates who come in and then when it's time to go do the thing, it's not what it was. Consider already we've had with Donald Trump. Here's going to be the announcement. We're going to announce. When will he announce? When won't he announce? It was a fizzle. It didn't do anything. It didn't make any difference because everybody has already seen the show. Everybody already knows the lines to the songs. If you're calling Freebird and this is what you want to hear, you love it. If not, you're probably ready to move on. I would say that the watchword for DeSantis is caution for now.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.